Today we are dissecting my flashcards. Why do they look like this? Why don't you just use other flashcards? What happened to get us here? The reason we're here is because other flashcards didn't work. I taught Spanish for many years with other flashcards, and I covered up the words at the bottom. I had to discuss the frustration of the cartoons and why they were colored a certain way, why they looked a certain way, all those different things that completely distracted the children from actually absorbing the word. So, created my own for my classes with photos. This is el osito. El osito. So already in your head you're hearing el osito. Hopefully you're repeating it. And you're wondering, what does that mean? And so it does mean just little bear, but it's a word that you would use for a teddy bear or a stuffed animal. El osito. El osito will always get you a teddy bear. On the back we have the Spanish, the English, in two different fonts, very important, and the phonetic spelling. White space is really important. So having a nice white background really helps your brain to absorb the item, hear the word, just like your brain did whenever you first learned how to speak. El osito. If you're not sure what it means, then you're frustrated. And so we want to make sure we remove that frustration. And so here it is, very easily. You're going to physically turn the card over. You're going to see what it means, and you can even see what it sounds like. So we're removing all frustrations. In case you didn't hear it, this clarifies for you. The target language, it has no serifs on it, no distractions whatsoever. And the native language that you're comfortable with is a more comfortable type of font. These are all developed over years of changes and noticing and experience of seeing what works best with students. As you move on to other photos, el plato. El plato. We can always flip it over. El plato. Notice that we don't have the word the every time. It's important in the target language to know what we're saying here. In the native language, you already know that the is going to be there, and it's going to end up adding visual clutter. So I teach you that in the curriculum. Here, you just get used to it. Your brain is amazing. La silla. La silla. Nice and clear photo. There's nothing really descriptive about this. It's just helping you to understand this is a basic chair. Your brain is just absorbing the sound, la silla. And then over here we have what it means. You don't have to be able to read in order to learn a second language, just like you couldn't read when you learned your first language. Then we actually have sentence starters. So a sentence starter is a way to start a sentence. A lot of times we all know nouns because your brain is really good at absorbing nouns, but your brain is not super great at putting together sentences because you're scared. You're fearful that you're going to get it grammatically incorrect. You're afraid of how to start that sentence. So I start it for you with me gusta. Me gusta means I like, or I like it. Me gusta. Me gusta. If you're not sure, again, we have that nice white space. We have the two different fonts helping you to focus on the correct one you want to focus on. But then we're flipping it back over to the photo, allowing your brain to absorb I like. Me gusta. Now you can make a sentence. Would you prefer to say me gusta la silla? Me gusta el plato? Or me gusta el osito? And now you get to decide. Most students will say me gusta el osito. And they're going to say it to you. They're going to say me gusta el osito. And so now they have participated in the therapy of physically picking things up, laying it down, making a decision, and communicating their own original thought. Now, no reading, no memorizing, no drill and kill, no phonics, just me gusta el osito. The next sentence starter we're going to learn is necesito. Necesito. At the beginning you're like, what does that mean? And it means I need. Now that you know it means I need, you'll get necesito. It's a little bit different than I like and I need. Me gusta, necesito. So maybe you don't necessarily necesito, no necesito el osito, pero me gusta el osito. Necesito la silla. Sometimes, right? Y me gusta. Maybe you don't like it, but you need it. No me gusta la silla, pero necesito la silla. And then maybe you're hungry. ¿Me gusta el plato? No, pero necesito el plato. So again, we're learning how to communicate. Other ways to use this in a therapy way is adding in, let's add in a body part here. We'll say la mano. La mano. No words here. Let me flip it over so you can see. No words for you to choose from. I just ask you, can you please touch la silla? La silla. If your brain is past puberty, that might have been really hard for you. If your brain is before puberty or right at the front edge or even during puberty, that probably was very easy. If you already know a little bit of Spanish, it was easy. If you're not sure, you can always flip it over and check. And so the perfect flashcard is a photo cue, lots of white space, no visual clutter. The words are not on the same side. This is a distraction. It ends up being a crutch. You don't learn Spanish by reading the word underneath it. You end up having to train your brain to try and see the word that's under here rather than remembering the sound that goes with it. So your brain is phenomenal, and it does a really great job by hearing the word, seeing the item, and absorbing it almost instantaneously. It takes a few more times as we go through after puberty and during puberty, but before puberty, man, la silla. That means this, la silla. And then if you write, what am I actually saying? You can always flip it over. El osito. El osito. Which one am I going to pick up for la mano? Now this time you probably did process of elimination, right? You heard la mano and you're like, I'm not sure if that's this one, but I know it's not this one. That is another language decoding skill that you just woke up. So you're already firing new neurons, new synapses. You're using a part of your brain that you never have used before unless you've used a second language for something. And then finally, el plato. El plato. All right, so for me gusta, which one would you like the best? Which one do you like? Probably still el osito. Me gusta el osito. Later on, we add in verbs. We can say things like I like to buy, or I need to buy, I need to clean, I need to find, I need to put away. There's all kinds of verbs we can put here. And it's keep necesito. So it trains your brain to think in a very language-centered way rather than some sort of list. A lot of curriculum have lists. This is our reference pages and the vocabulary. So you can see 45 words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and sentence starters. Things like I like, it hurts, where is, all kinds of things. And this is just the first set. So your brain does not work well. This is not how you learned your first language. You learned how to see the item, hear the word, and repeat it. Los juguetes, el tenedor. And so you move forward very slowly, one sound at a time, one word at a time, but immediately you get to put it together, meaning with your own meaningful significance, not having to worry about translate something or fill in the blank with something. It's all there for you to decide how to use it, just like you learned your first language. And that is why I came up with the perfect flashcard system. It's not just a flashcard, it's actual visual therapy, audio therapy, hands-on, grammar, all kinds of things that will really exercise your brain in a new way that you've never done before, simply because you're waking up that second language portion. No screens, audio only, hands-on manners, and it feels like a game. As you relax and you have a good time, it's not like there's no jingles, there's no, robot voice. It's all relaxed because all these things go together to help your brain remember how it learned its first language. How did you learn to speak in the first place? And this is how you did it, with actual items. As close as we can assimilate it without having a live-in Spanish-speaking mother, this is how you're going to learn how to say la mano, la silla, el osito, el tenedor, el plato, necesito, los juguetes, y me gusta. Me gusta, flip-flop Spanish.